Netanyahu.
Hey,
Benjamin Netanyahu.
One of the most influential and controversial figures in modern Israeli history, has shaped the nation's politics for decades. From his early days as a soldier to becoming Israel's longest-serving prime minister, Netanyahu's journey is a story of ambition, resilience, and controversy. We'll explore his life, career, and the legacy he leaves behind. Born on October 21, 1949, in Tel Aviv, Benjamin Netanyahu grew up in a family deeply connected to Israeli politics and academia. His father, Benjamin Netanyahu, was a renowned historian and a staunch Zionist, which heavily influenced young Benjamin's worldview. Netanyahu spent part of his childhood in the United States, where he attended high school and developed a fluent command of English, a skill that would later serve him well on the global stage. In 1967, Netanyahu returned to Israel to serve in the Israel Defense Forces (IDF). He joined the elite Special Forces unit, Sayeret Matkal, and participated in several high-risk missions, including the rescue of hostages from a hijacked plane in 1972. His military service earned him respect and recognition, laying the foundation for his future political career. After completing his military service, Netanyahu returned to the U.S. to study at MIT, where he earned degrees in architecture and business management. However, his heart remained in Israel, and he soon returned to pursue a career in diplomacy. In the 1980s, Netanyahu served as Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, where he became known for his articulate defense of Israel's policies on the global stage. His charisma and ability to communicate effectively in English made him a rising star in Israeli politics. In 1988, Netanyahu entered the Knesset as a member of the Likud party. His rapid ascent continued, and by 1996, he had become Israel's youngest ever prime minister, defeating Shimon Peres in a closely contested election. Netanyahu's first term as prime minister was marked by a focus on security and a hardline approach to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. He famously opposed the Oslo Accords, which aimed to establish peace between Israel and the Palestinians, arguing that they compromised Israel's security. Despite his tough stance, Netanyahu signed the Hebron Agreement in 1997, which transferred control of most of Hebron to the Palestinian Authority.
I am very pleased to announce, on behalf of the two leaders, that they have reached agreement on a protocol on Hebron redeployment and on a note for the record on non-Hebron issues.
This move was seen as a pragmatic step, but it also drew criticism from hardliners within his own party. Economic reforms were another hallmark of Netanyahu's first term. He liberalized the economy, reduced government spending, and encouraged privatization, which led to significant economic growth. However, his tenure was also marred by political scandals and internal party conflicts, which ultimately contributed to his defeat in the 1999 elections. After his defeat in 1999, Netanyahu temporarily stepped away from politics, but made a comeback in the early 2000s, serving as finance minister under Ariel Sharon. His economic policies during this time were credited with revitalizing Israel's economy. In 2009, Netanyahu returned to the prime minister's office, beginning what would become the longest consecutive tenure in Israeli history. His second stint was defined by a focus on national security, a hawkish stance on Iran, and a commitment to expanding Israeli settlements in the West Bank. Netanyahu's relationship with the United States was complex. While he enjoyed strong support from Republican administrations, his ties with the Obama administration were often strained, particularly over the Iran nuclear deal. Domestically, Netanyahu faced numerous corruption allegations, which led to widespread protests and calls for his resignation. Despite these challenges, he remained a dominant figure in Israeli politics, winning multiple elections and maintaining a firm grip on power. Benjamin Netanyahu's legacy is a subject of intense debate. Supporters praise him for strengthening Israel's economy, bolstering its security, and elevating the country's global standing. Under his leadership, Israel signed historic normalization agreements with several Arab countries known as the Abraham Accords.
Those who are with us today and those who will join us tomorrow, I say, Assalamu alaikum.
However, critics argue that his policies deepened divisions within Israeli society and undermined the prospects for peace with the Palestinians. His tenure was also overshadowed by ongoing corruption trials, which have left a cloud over his political career. In 2021, after 12 consecutive years in power, Netanyahu was ousted from office, marking the end of an era. Yet, his influence on Israeli politics remains undeniable, and he continues to be a central figure in the country's political landscape. Benjamin Netanyahu's story is one of triumph, controversy, and resilience. Whether admired or criticized, his impact on Israel and the Middle East is undeniable. As the nation moves forward, the legacy of its longest-serving prime minister will continue to shape its future. While Benjamin Netanyahu's leadership brought economic growth and strengthened Israel's global standing, his tenure was also marked by significant controversy, particularly regarding his policies toward the Palestinians. Critics argue that his hardline approach exacerbated the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, leading to widespread suffering and loss of life. Netanyahu's government consistently supported the expansion of Israeli settlements in the West Bank, which are considered illegal under international law. These settlements not only undermined the possibility of a two-state solution, but also led to the displacement of Palestinian families and the confiscation of their land. During his time in office, several major military operations were launched in Gaza, resulting in significant civilian casualties. The 2014 Gaza War, also known as Operation Protective Edge, was one of the deadliest conflicts in recent history. Over 2,200 Palestinians were killed, the majority of whom were civilians, including hundreds of children. Israel faced widespread condemnation for its use of disproportionate force and attacks on civilian infrastructure, such as schools and hospitals. Netanyahu's policies in Jerusalem also drew criticism. His government's support for Jewish settlement in East Jerusalem and the eviction of Palestinian families from neighborhoods like Sheikh Jarrah fueled tensions and contributed to outbreaks of violence. The 2017 decision to install metal detectors at the entrance to the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, a holy site for Muslims, sparked widespread protests and further escalated the conflict. Human rights organizations have accused Netanyahu's government of implementing policies that amount to apartheid, citing the unequal treatment of Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza, as well as within Israel itself. The blockade of Gaza, which has been in place since 2007, has led to a humanitarian crisis, with limited access to basic necessities like food, water, and medical supplies. Netanyahu's rhetoric toward the Palestinians has also been a source of controversy. He has repeatedly rejected the idea of a Palestinian state, and has been accused of using inflammatory language to dehumanize Palestinians and justify harsh policies. While Netanyahu's supporters argue that his tough stance was necessary to protect Israel's security, his critics believe that his policies perpetuated the cycle of violence and made peace even more elusive. The human cost of his leadership, measured in the lives lost, families displaced, and communities destroyed, remains a deeply troubling aspect of his legacy. Thank you for watching this journey through the life and career of Benjamin Netanyahu. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more historical deep dives. See you in the next video.